about Bali. Bali is one part of Indonesia, and Indonesia also have 17,508 islands. So it means that if you go to Indonesia and travel Indonesia and go to Bali, you would be able to enjoy your vacation much more because now you can speak the local language, right? So yeah, so those are some interesting facts about Bahasa, and now let's get started. In this lesson, you will first of all learn about formal and informal Bahasa. We will tell you what is formal Bahasa and what is informal Bahasa. And after that, we will learn some very basic grammar, and then we will learn some vocabulary, and also we will learn some sample sentences and create your very first sentences in Bahasa, so you can practice your Bahasa right away. Okay, so as I mentioned previously, let's start by explaining and telling you what is the difference between formal and informal Bahasa. So basically there are two types of Bahasa, formal and informal Bahasa. Formal Bahasa are Bahasa that is used for formal occasions. For example, business meeting, lecture, if you go to university in Indonesia or something like that, or if you meet a person for the very first time, you will usually need formal Bahasa, and you would usually use formal Bahasa. And then number two, we have informal Bahasa. This is a form of Bahasa that is usually used for like close friends or your family members or people or persons that you already know for a long time. And in these lessons and some future lessons, you will be introduced with formal Bahasa first, because you cannot go wrong usually with formal Bahasa, and usually you will use your Bahasa with people that you just know, right, to introduce yourself and stuff like that. And therefore it is much better if you know formal Bahasa first. But of course, in the future, you will learn informal Bahasa and talk more casually. So now let's just start this lesson by learning some grammar. As you know, grammar is the most important thing, very basic. It is important for you to understand very basic grammar of any language that you are learning. And today we will be learning subject pronouns. Okay, the subject pronoun of Bahasa, it is quite simple. Like number one is, how do you say I? I is saya. Okay, I is saya. So it is not very complicated. So saya, I. And then how do you say you? You is kamu. So ka and mu. So you have kamu. And then how do you say they? They is mereka. Okay, try to always say it after me. Okay, repeat after me so that you also learn how to say the word correctly. So again, how do you say they? They is mereka. Mereka. Now next, how do you say kami? Sorry, how do you say we? How do you say we? We is kami. Kami. Okay, how do you say she or he? Now this is something interesting, because in Bahasa, there is no she and there is no he. You just simply say the same word, which is dia. Again, dia. Okay, and then how do you say it or that? It is itu. Again, itu. So yeah, so those are the most basic grammar that you will learn today, and those are the subject pronouns in Bahasa. So now let's try to quiz yourself. So try not to look to the video if you are watching this on YouTube, or just simply test yourself. Okay, I will say the English subject pronouns and try to answer the question using the Bahasa version. Number one, how do you say I? 1, 2, 3. Saya. How do you say they? Mereka. Mereka. How do you say she or he? 1, 2, 3. It's dia. Good. So try to repeat that over and over again until you master the subject pronouns in Bahasa. Okay? So yeah, after we have now learned about some grammar, now it's time for us to learn a little bit about vocabulary. So now let's learn about vocabulary or kosakata in Bahasa Indonesia. You do not need to memorize kosakata for now because it is a bit advanced. But for now, we will learn 4 basics verbs that you will use every day in your Bahasa, exercise. So how do you say eat? Eat is makan. 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 How do you say go? Go is pergi. So as you can see here, we pronounce the R quite clearly. So it is kind of like Spanish. If you guys speak Spanish out there, I think you will notice that Indonesian pronounce the R quite similar to the Spanish language. To the Spanish. So it's pergi. Again, pergi. And how do you say drink in Bahasa? It's minum. Minum. And how do you say buy? Buy is membeli. Okay, so again, try to repeat it over and over again until you master it and you can pronounce it comfortably. Now, before we move on, let's learn 2 useful expressions. I think learning expression is very important in your language learning, whatever language you are learning, because useful expression is something that you actually can use right away. So you can already say, you can just say it to anyone really when you just want to practice your language. We will learn 2 useful expressions. Number 1 is hello. It's quite similar. It's hello. Okay, hello. So the natural way of saying it would be hello. And then we have good morning. It is selamat pagi. Selamat pagi. Selamat pagi. So the natural speed would be selamat pagi. The slow speed would be selamat pagi. Okay, so again, try to practice it, as often as you can, so you can master it, as I mentioned multiple times by now. Now, after you have learned a little bit about grammar and you have learned a little bit about vocabulary in Bahasa, it is time for us to create some sample sentences so that you know more and you can create your first sentence in Bahasa. So these are 4 sample sentences that you will learn today. Number 1 is hello, selamat pagi. That's the natural speed, and the slow speed would be hello, selamat pagi. Okay, I hope you already know what this phrase means. Hello is hello, of course, and selamat pagi is good morning. So hello, selamat pagi is hello, good morning. Okay, and then number 2 we have saya pergi. Saya is I and pergi is go. So saya pergi is I go. And I will tell you a good news here. So the good news here, at this point, you do not really need to conjugate the verb. Unlike English, when you say she goes and then you say I go, you need to change the verb. You need to conjugate the verb go into goes if you change the subject from I to she or he or it, right? But fortunately in Bahasa, you do not need that. You just simply use the same verb for any subject pronoun. So for example, again, if you want to say I go, it is saya pergi. If you want to say she goes, it is dia pergi. You go, it is kamu pergi. They go, it is mereka pergi, and so on and so forth. So basically it stays the same. Number 3 is mereka makan. Mereka makan is, mereka is they, and then we have makan here, which is eat, and then mereka makan is they eat. The same again, if you want to say si eats, you can just say dia makan, and so on. And the last one is dia minum. Dia is she or he. Of course, when you just say dia, you do not know the gender of the person, so you do not know whether it is a she or it is a he, right? So it will need further elaboration, and it will need the context. I think the context will make it clear. But at this point, dia minum can both mean she drinks or he drinks. Okay? But again, if you want to change it into I drink, you can just say saya minum. So very simple. And by just knowing this simple rule, you can now already make many sentences and practice your bahasa, right? So if you have understood that, now let's test yourself. How do you say we go in bahasa? I will give you some time. We is kami, and go is pergi. So we go is kami pergi. And then you drink. And what about she eats? Okay, so if you know the answer of those two questions, go write down your answer to the comment sections, and we will check, and we will also correct if you are making a mistake. And it's fine to make a mistake. I made a lot of mistake when I learned English for the very first time, and I think now I'm still making mistake, and it's fine, really, right? So don't get discouraged if you still don't understand this lesson. Try to watch it over and over again if you are watching this on YouTube, or try to listen to it over and over again if you are listening to this through podcast. Okay, so that's it, the lesson for today. You can follow us on Instagram at Bahasa Little Project for additional lessons. You can practice your Bahasa and join our community on facebook.com/Bahasa Little Project. You can also find our podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, etc. And you can support us on patreon.com/Bahasa Little Project to get exclusive contents. And by exclusive contents, I mean you will be able to receive PDFs, books on more vocabulary of Bahasa, more sample sentences, more conversation, and also you will join our exclusive Telegram group, in which you will be meeting your tutor there. I think you will be meeting me there. And then you can practice your Bahasa, and you can ask whatever question. So that's it for this lesson, and I will see you again in level 1 lesson 2. Bye.